Hola mis chicas hermosas del Perú.
We are the ELIP project.
Pose with the fans.
This program aims to respond to one of the most urgent humanitarian challenges in Latin America, the educational
Estudiando.
and labor integration of migrants and refugees, especially Venezuelans who arrive in Colombia every day in search of safety, stability, and opportunities. Our proposal is called ELIP, Educational and Labor Integration Program for Migrants, and it is based entirely on real data, verified migration routes, official reports from organizations such as UNHCR, UNICEF, and IOM, and government data from Colombia.
Es que sí entendí la referencia.
Everything we include here follows exactly what our assignment requires. Maps, current migration flows, the routes that migrants take, calculation of real cost, the number of people who will benefit, and a clear explanation of how this proposal could actually work in real life.
Esto es real.
Our goal is not just to imagine a project, but to show that solutions are possible when they are planned rigorously, backed by evidence, and centered on human dignity.
I teach you a problem that migrants face every single day and that determines their entire future. After reviewing reports and testimonies, we discovered that one of the biggest challenges for Venezuelan migrants in Colombia is that they cannot easily access education or also for a formal employment because the lack of documentation, support networks, or systems that recognize their skills. This was alarming, especially because Colombia is currently the largest host country for Venezuelan migrants in the world, with more than 2.8 million people who have crossed the border in search for a better life. For us, this means we need to design a proposal that was realistic, focused on impact, and capable of responding to an issue that affects hundreds of thousands of families. This is how ELIP was born, as a comprehensive solution that brings together documentation, education, training, employment, mental health.
Before explaining our proposal, it is important to understand why so many people have been forced to leave Venezuela.
Venezuela viene con un proceso nuevo, con jugadores con hambre.
Since 2015, Venezuela has experienced a prolonged crisis marked by hyperinflation, the dramatic collapse of public service, severe food and medicine shortage, political instability, and increasing insecurity. Families can no longer rely on hospitals, schools, electricity, or running water. Many people struggle to find enough food to feed their children, and essential medicines are often unavailable. At the same time, political tension and institutional weakening have resulted in discrimination, persecution, and, in many cases, violence against civilians. All of these factors have pushed more than 6.7 million Venezuelans to leave their country. This is one of the largest displacement crises in modern Latin American history. Those who leave often undertake extremely long and dangerous journeys, walking for days or even weeks, crossing mountains, deserts, cities and borders with almost no resources. Without documents, many remain invisible, vulnerable to exploitation, and unable to continue their education or find decent work.
Through our research, we identified two major migration routes used by Venezuelan migrants. The first is the Southern American route, which begins in Venezuela and continues throughout Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, and finally Chile. Migrants choose this path because they seek countries with greater economic stability or because they have family or community networks already established in these destinations. Along this route, Colombia plays a critical role as both the main entry point and the country that currently receives the highest number of Venezuelan migrants. The second route is the Caribbean Andean route, which also begins in Venezuela but moves throughout northern Colombia. Migrants first enter through Cúcuta, which is the busiest border point between the two countries. From there, many travel to Barranquilla in search of economic opportunities, then move toward Bogota, which is the main internal destination due to its jobs market, universities, and public services. Others continue toward Palmira, a city known for its agricultural and industrial employment and for being a connection point toward southern Colombia. Both routes involve long distances, high risk, and constant uncertainty, which is why Colombia needs programs that directly address the needs of migrants along.
While migrants face many challenges, one of the most devastating is the lack of access to education and formal employment. According to the latest data, around 586,000 Venezuelan children are currently enrolled in Colombian schools, and an estimated of 787,000 are still out of school.
What are you waiting for?
This creates several risks, including child labor, exploitation, and long-term cycles of poverty. At the same time, thousands of adults arrive with professional experience, technical skills, and training, yet they're unable to work formally because they lack documentation or because their skills are not recognized under the Colombian systems. And this is not only a humanitarian problem, but also an economic one. When migrants cannot study or work, their opportunities disappear, and Colombia misses the chance to integrate people who could meaningfully contribute to society. That is why we designed ILIP to bridge this gap and create a system where education and employment opportunities exist for.
ELIP, or the Educational and Labor Integration Program, is a national initiative designed to offer migrants a clear pathway toward stability and independence. The program has 5 interconnected components that respond to the different stages of the migrant experience. The first component focuses on the documentation.
Wazowski, you didn't file your paperwork last night.
Because without the legal documents, migrants cannot attend school, access health services, or apply for formal jobs. That's why ELIP proposed the creation of 40 mobile registration units that travel across Colombia, including remote rural areas, to provide migrants with a temporary protection permit, the PPT, digital records, and legal assistance by taking documentation services directly to migrant communities instead of expecting them to travel long distances. ELIP helps solve one of the biggest obstacles migrants face.
The second component of ELIP or Elip are the mobile learning centers. These are modular classrooms equipped with educational materials, tablets, projectors, solar energy, and also clean water system. Each center will include a team of teachers, psychologists, social workers, and technical instructors who provide both academic and emotional support. These centers will operate in locations where children and teenagers cannot easily access public schools.
This is the worst!
Ensuring continuity learning. They also support young adults and older adults by offering literacy programs, accelerate education and training for technical trades. The purpose is to make education physically and also socially accessible, especially for those with trauma or who have been out of school for a long period of time. The third component focuses on scholarship and financial assistance. For migrant families, many children drop out of school not because they do not want to go, but it's because their families cannot afford uniforms, school supplies, or transportation. So ELIP or Elip, proposed a scholarship system that provides monthly cash transfers and school materials for the most vulnerable families, ensuring that the economic situation is not something that can prevent children from receiving an education.
The fourth component addresses labor integration. This includes recognition of skills and work experience, even when migrants do not have official documents from Venezuela, through partnership with Colombia Educational Institution and Employments. Elip will create exams, training courses, and certification programs that validate skilled migrants already have. At the same time, Elip offers 5,000 technical scholarships and works with companies to create incentives for formal hiring. This entire component promotes economic independence and reduces informality and exploitation. The fifth and final component focuses on mental health and anti-xenophobia campaigns. Migrants often arrive with psychological trauma caused by violence, hunger, separation from family members, or the stress of displacement. For this reason, Elip includes mobile psychological support teams, trauma response programs, and workshops that promote emotional well-being. To reduce discrimination, Elip also introduced community workshops, schools campaigns, and national awards initiatives that educate the public about migration and encourage empathy and respect.
The video will present interactive maps illustrating how migration actually occurs. The first map shows the South American route, which highlights Venezuela as the primary country of origin and Colombia as the main country of transit and reception. It then follows the pathway throughout Ecuador and Peru, and finally into Chile, which until recent policy changes was one of the main destinations due to its stable economy. This map helps the audience visualize the magnitude of the movement and understand why Colombia plays such a central role in protecting migrant families. The second map focuses on the Caribbean and their route within Colombia. It shows how migrants cross throughout Cúcuta and then disperse towards cities like Barranquilla, Bogotá, and Palmira. The map also demonstrates how these cities serve as hubs for education, employment, and humanitarian services. Understanding these routes is crucial because it helps us design programs like Elip that can respond to needs along the entire journey, not just at the point of arrival.
If Elip were implemented during its first years, the results would be transformative for both migrants and the Colombian communities. Through the mobile documentation units, around 300,000 migrants will receive legal documentation, allowing them to access school, healthcare, and employment. Meanwhile, the mobile learning centers will help around 200,000 children either enter school for the first time or avoiding dropping out. And an additional 20,000 adults will receive technical training that prepares them for the workforce. Through employment partnerships and certification programs, at least 10,000 migrants will secure formal jobs, contributing to Colombia's economic growth and gaining financial independence for their families. Beyond these measurable outcomes, Elip will also create safer communities by reducing child labor and preventing exploitation and strengthening social cohesion.
The Elip can function effectively, we calculated a full cost estimated based on real market values, salaries, and resources used by similar programs. The total cost for the first year is $192.5 million USD. Which includes the purchase of mobile units, salaries for teachers, psychologists, and legal staff, materials for learning centers, cash assistance for families, employment programs funds, and a national system for monitoring progress. Although this budget may seem high, it is a long-term investment that benefits not only migrants but also Colombian institutions.
Colombia, me encantó.
The workforce and the broader economy. When migrants have education and employment, poverty decreases, community destabilizes, and productive economy activity increases. ELIP is not a charity, it is an investment in human development and future prosperity.
As a team, we believe that ELIP or Elip represents a realistic, efficient, and also compassionate way to respond to the current migration crisis. And it is not about temporary system. It is about creating long-term opportunities that allow migrants to rebuild their lives with dignity by combining education, legal support, employment integration, and also mental health.
Estoy loco. Estoy loco.
ELIP or ELIP address the problem from every angle.
Helping migrants should not be limited to occasional donation or emergency response. Real help requires structured programs that allow people to recover their stability, pursue their goals, and contribute to society. Elip does exactly that by giving migrants the tools they need to become active members of their new communities.
We hope this proposal inspires conversations about what government, organizations, and citizens can do to support migrants with empathy and respect. Migrants are not a burden. They are people with talents, dreams, and abilities who, when it's given the opportunity, can strengthen the social and economic fabric of the countries that welcome.
Thank you for watching our presentation, and we are proud to share Elip with all of you. Our final message is simple: integration transforms lives, not only the life of the migrants, but also the future of the countries that choose to support them. We live in a region where education, dignity, and opportunity are available to everyone, no matter where they come from.